Hello and welcome to the Retro Renaissance Woman. It's a very gray, rainy day today, and it seems like just the right atmosphere to do a little plain, cozy cooking. My recipe for today is from the 1944 edition of the Good Housekeeping Cookbook, and it says in the preface that this book is concerned with plain cooking, but with good plain cooking. And the recipe that I'm doing today, I think, exemplifies that. It's just a variation of scrambled eggs, an egg and cheese scramble. So we'll start by mincing and sautéing an onion. Oh man, I have the vent fan on high. My eyes are still really stinging. Better hurry. Alright, now let's get this raw onion cooking as speedily as possible. Now I have to sauté the onions in 3 tablespoons of butter on low heat until tender but not brown.
Why am I smiling and why do I sing? Why does December seem sunny as spring? Why do I get up each morning to start happy and head up with joy?
Alright, the onions have been sautéing for just a little over 10 minutes, and they're beginning to soak up the butter and get a little bit softer, so I'll start beating the eggs. We're going to beat 4 eggs until light.
Why is each new task a trifle to do? Because I am living a life full of you. I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain.
Alright, hopefully that's light enough. Now I'm adding to this 1/3 cup of milk, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And I'm just going to grind some pepper into it. I'm not going to measure it. And the recipe calls for 1/8 pound of grated American cheese. And I discovered in my cheese frankfurters video that 6 pieces of American cheese is 1/4 pound. So I'm just using 3 slices. Now I have in the past tried to grate sliced American cheese, and I decided that I would never do it again. So I'm just going to cut this in really small slices, which will be much, much easier.
What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above. The sun's in my heart and I'm ready for love. Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place.
The recipe only calls for 1/3 cup of onions, so I measured out what I needed and put aside the rest. Alright, now I just have to cook this on low heat and keep stirring it until the mixture is just set.
Come on with the rain, I've a smile on my face. I'll walk down the lane with a happy refrain and singing, just singing in the rain.
Alright, it looks like this is pretty much done. This is kind of funny, but I had frozen most of the pecan muffins that I made in last week's recipe, and I used one of those here instead of toast. They were much more like biscuits than muffins anyway, so I thought it would work just fine. Unfortunately, I forgot to turn my camera on for just the first few moments of my taste test, but my microphone was on, so you can at least hear the audio. Alright, it's time to taste test. I feel like these are the most ridiculously vintage-looking scrambled eggs I've ever seen. I love it. Oh, that's really nice. Wow, these are really good. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's just really good scrambled eggs. It just feels very, very hearty and kind of like a comfort food. I'm sure the cheese helps. I honestly can't think of much else to say about these. I really enjoyed them, though I will say they took a lot more time and effort than I would usually put into making scrambled eggs. If I do this again, I'll probably be much more freewheeling and just throw in any leftover veggies or cheese or whatever I happen to have on hand. Also, I will say that if I had put in a whole quarter teaspoon of pepper as the recipe directed, I think that would have been pretty overpowering, since the pepper taste was already very noticeable as it was. If you try the recipe, please let me know in the comments how it goes. Thanks so much for spending this time with me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and bon appétit!